Assalamualaikum. We are from book 3. We will talk about it in the video. I am Muhammad Aiman Fatih bin Makiri. My meeting number HWT10203. For introduction, study on anatomy and psychology about the dissection of the body with either aid, which is the term of the leg or dissection to fight dissection, so that the human body become weak and interferes with daily life. Because how the need to take various medicalness and undergo medical treatment in hospital and after. This study was studied by the researchers who are linear already of information carried up to various steps, such as website, treatment, before and after, so that the researcher can learn more about dissection, know how to aid. It engages the idea of the local community and express with the daily activity of the community. Have linear the aid is caused by the HIV virus that attack and destroy the body immunity. Any individual get aid with the HIV virus damage the body defense system, so the body defense system do not function perfectly and have make the individual easy to infected with bacteria, and after virus we can cause already death or destruction. The origin of the AIDS and HIV has been question mark for scientists, since the disease was first identified in the early 1940s. The first case identified as AIDS occurred in the United States in the early 1940s. The first case identified as AIDS occurred in the United States in the early 1980s, where many homosexual men living in New York and California showed initial infected and cancer the way difficult to treat. At the time, it did not have the clear name, but bacterial supporting for it showed symptoms of the same syndrome. In 1982, Haiti officials began use the term recurrent immunodeficiency syndrome of AIDS to describe the occurrence of this initial infection, such as tuberculosis, sarcoma, cancer, and pneumonia among primarily Haiti people. Official reporter and delegate of the AIDS practice began the year in the United States. In 1983, scientists discovered the virus that caused AIDS. This virus was initially named FDLY, of human T-cell immunotherapy virus type. Immunotherapy also identifies virus by a group of international scientists. This name was later changed to HIV, of human influenza virus. For now, scientists are still unclear about the origin of HIV and how it spread among human society. Most scientists believe that HIV originated as an animal borneo disease for the primate family that scientifically has a very close reference to homosexual society. In 1999, a group of scientists reported they has found the origin of HIV-1, the main type of HIV virus found in the developing country. A subspecies of CPC originates from West Africa has been identified as the source of this virus. They believe the HIV-1 was introduced to humans, where these hunters with exposure to the blood of species infected with the virus. The amount the study conducted at the time found the earliest known HIV in humans was from a blood sample taken from a man in 1959 in Kinshasa, Democratic Republic of the Congo. Knowledge how the individual can be infected with the virus. However, until now the question has not been answered. Based on genetic analysis of blood sample, it is possible that the infected originated from a virus in the late 1950s or late 1950s. So this can be used as the criteria for modern medical to deal with the disease effectively and effectively.
My name is Rini Ayuni binti Muhammad Shukri. My matric number HWT10203.
B. What are the anatomy or structure part of body system involving diagram? 1. Normal function. The human body is biological machine made of body system groups of organs that work together to produce and sustain life. An organ system is a combination of organs such as heart, lungs, eyes, kidneys that work together for a specific function. The human body consists of 11 interrelated organ systems that manage all essential body functions. The skeletal system is composed of bones and cartilage. There are two parts of the skeleton, axial and appendicular. The axial skeleton consists of the bones of the head and trunk. The appendicular skeleton consists of the bones within the limbs as well as supporting pectoral and pelvic girders. There are 206 bones in an adult human body. The place at which two bones are fitted together is called the joint or articulation. Joints are supported by cartilage and reinforced with ligaments. The function of the skeletal system are mechanical support, movement, protection, blood cell production, calcium storage, and endocrine regulation. Elements of the skeletal system are adjusted to the function of the body part they support. Thus, the anatomy of bones, joints, and ligaments is studied topographically, such as the bones of the head and neck, thorax, abdomen, and upper and lower limbs. The muscular system consists of all the body muscles. There are three muscle types: smooth, cardiac, and skeletal muscle. Smooth muscle is found within walls of blood vessels and hollow organs such as the stomach or intestines. Cardiac muscle cells from the heart muscle, also called the falls. Skeletal muscle attached to the bones of the body. Among these three, only skeletal muscle can be controlled consciously and enable us to produce body movement, while the function of the other two muscle types is regulated by the autonomic nervous system and is unconscious. Histologically, skeletal and cardiac muscle fibers are arranged in repetitive fashion, giving a strip appearance, hence are called striated muscle. The cardiovascular system is comprised of the heart and the circulatory system of the blood vessel. The heart is composed of four chambers, 2 atria and 2 ventricles. Blood enters the heart through the upper chambers of the left and right atria and exits via the left and right ventricles. Heart valves prevent the backflow of blood. The heart acts as a two-way pump. The right side of the heart pumps your oxygenated blood into the pulmonary circulation of the lungs, where the blood is re-oxygenated again, while the left side of the heart simultaneously pumps oxygenated blood into the systemic circulation, distributing it to the peripheral tissue. Then the regular pumping or heartbeat is controlled by the conduction system of the heart. The circulatory system, also called the vascular system, consists of arteries, veins, and capillaries. They all comprise a continuous network of vessels that act to carry blood around the body. Blood leaves the heart via arteries. These progressively reduce in size to continue as smaller arterial vessels called arterioles. Arterioles end in a web of even smaller vessels called capillaries. The exchange of gas and nutrients occur through the capillary walls. Small veins called venules leave from capillaries and gradually increase their lumen on the way to the heart to end as veins. There is a certain histological difference between arteries and veins, but their main functional difference reflect the direction in which they conduct blood. The arteries convey blood from the heart to the periphery, whereas the veins convey blood from the periphery to the heart. Major functions of the cardiovascular system include the transportation of oxygen, nutrients, and hormones throughout the body within the blood, as well as eliminating carbon dioxide and the other metabolic waste.
My name is Nabiha binti Yusuf. My metric number is H2280957. B. The second question is, how does the disease happen? Mechanism of disease development. A person may suffer flu-like symptoms when they first come into touch with someone who has HIV illness. The onset of this symptom typically takes 2 until 4 weeks. HIV affects and damages cells in the immune system. The immune system protects the body from virus, bacteria, and fungi. The infection is usually mild in people without HIV but can be severe or life-threatening in people who have stage 3 HIV. A person may receive a stage 3 HIV diagnosis if they have opportunities infection. Some of the most common opportunities infection: herpes simplex virus, an infection that often causes sore in the mouth. Salmonella, a bacterial infection that affects the intestines, oral thrush, or vaginal thrush. Other opportunities infection include pneumonia. Pneumonia is a form to acute respiratory infection that affects the lungs. The lungs are made up of small mucus called alveoli, which is filled with air when a healthy person breathes. When an individual has pneumonia, the alveoli are filled with pus and fluid, which makes breathing painful and limits oxygen intake. Number 2 is dry cough. Number 3 is cancer, Kaposi sarcoma. Kaposi sarcoma causes dark, purplish or browny spot on the skin or in the mouth. These may be flat or raised. Kaposi sarcoma may also affect the limbs, nodes, and other organs, such as the digestive tract, lungs, liver, and spleen. In some cases, Kaposi sarcoma can cause serious problems or may even become life-threatening. For someone with AIDS-related Kaposi sarcoma, taking antiretroviral therapy allow their immune function to get better and machine lesion. For some arts, maybe only treatment needed. For people with more advanced disease or whose disease does not respond to art alone, other treatment for Kaposi sarcoma alone. Other treatment for Kaposi sarcoma may be needed, such as chemotherapy or radiation. Other opportunities infection. Number 4 is cytomegalovirus infection. Number 5 is cryptococcal meningitis.
C. When does this disaster happen? Young, old, pregnant, travel to per country. The virus spread throughout Africa and other parts of the world over the year. In the United States, there were 300 detection cases of AIDS. Of those 300 cases,
AIDS virus is spread.
Back in the early 1980s, HIV infection was often seen as a death sentence. By 2000, more than 28 million people were living with HIV, but only 1 in 50 received antiretroviral medicines. Overall, 35 million people have died and 76 million have become infected. But today, the scales have tipped. Yearly, AIDS-related deaths have almost halved since 2005. More than 50% of people living with HIV have access to treatment. And a person living with HIV who starts treatment today has the same life expectancy as someone who is free of HIV infection. Pressure from the global AIDS movement has made medicines affordable in almost every country. $75 will cover an adult for an entire year. But there is still much work to do. 17 million people living with HIV still don't have access to treatment. Young women in sub-Saharan Africa are especially at risk. Their rate of new HIV infections is 44% higher than among young men. AIDS-related deaths have risen in the Middle East, North Africa, and also in Central Asia and Eastern Europe, where people who inject drugs account for nearly half of new infections. AIDS is not over, but it can be. UNAIDS, leading the global effort to end AIDS as a public health threat by 2030.
The question is, can we prevent this disease? How to do it? Patient management. AIDS is the decade major public health challenge. There is still no vaccine to prevent it or medicine to treat. Knowledge about AIDS, early case detection, healthcare, and living a healthy lifestyle are the primary defense against the AIDS epidemic. AIDS is more than a medical problem. It also has moral and social implication. As a result, the most efficient way to deal with the AIDS problem is to involve multi-facet collaboration agencies, particularly those directly involved in prevention effort. Drug addiction is known to be the primary cause of disease transmission in Malaysia. Drug addiction is a serious threat on national security and health. The way to prevent AIDS is to avoid alcohol and illicit substances. Recent studies have found that the use of intoxicant, alcohol, and illicit hallucinogenic drugs like shabu and cocaine are closely related to promiscuous sex habit. In fact, it also causes a person to tend to other wild activities such as heroin use and sharing drug needs. Secondly, decide not to have sex. No having sex, also known as being abstinent, is a 1% effective way to make sure you won't get HIV through sex. You can be abstinent at different times in your life for different reasons that may change over time. Not having sex also prevent pregnancy.
Hello, my name is Cik Syairah binti Daud. My matric number is HWT10203. Next, how to prevent AIDS is get tested for HIV. Talk to your partner about HIV testing and get started before you have sex. Use the get tested locator from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention (CDC) to find an HIV testing location near you. After that, the responsible party should improve the health education program in an effort to increase the level of knowledge and awareness about HIV among the community drug addicts and members of 17 centers. Activities as follow. The HIV health education package is incorporated into the agenda or weekly program or monthly. The HIV education module should be included as one of the compulsory modules in the consular course. Every educator Member must be given health indication about HIV, especially about standard precaution at least once in a year. Its district educate must establish a resource center equipped with materials, health indication materials such as brochures, poster, videos, cassette, and reference books related to HIV. Counseling service in it must because HIV is a disease that is closely related to behavior risks, and then it is important that every train is given effective counseling. Counseling must be carried out before and after the screening test. In conclusion, HIV is a type of virus that can cause the body immune system to fight disease slowly, while it's in the final stage of HIV infection, where the body's immune system to fight disease has been disabled. It was first detected in early 1981 in the United States. It is caused by FreeSec. It is a unique disease in which it is interconnected between one disease and another. For example, a person with AIDS will experience severe infection that will cause severe type of disease such as pneumonia, candidiasis, brain inflammation, severe type of cancer including corpus sarcoma, lymphoma, oral cancer, anorectal cancer, and so on. In addition, other AIDS is included in the category of communicable disease. It cannot be transmitted through air, contact, or eating food, or using equipment used by its patients. On the other hand, it's only transmitted through sex, blood contaminated with the HIV virus, and from an HIV-infected mother, her child, either during pregnancy, childbirth, or breastfeeding. In order to deal with the AIDS epidemics that is because becoming more contagious among all levels of society, we need to emphasize the prevention aspect either directly or indirectly. There are several measures to prevent and control AIDS. Among them are through charity, education, law enforcement, medical, and others. The measures are very effective prevention methods in solving the cause of the AIDS disease, including promiscuous sex, drug addiction, and blood contaminated with HIV. This is because all the routes that can lead to damage and harm have been closed and prohibited on one in Islam. Besides that, Islam also attaches great importance to the aspect of education, and especially the education of children, because through education we cannot only produce an generation with knowledge, but also we noble character. The education includes faith education, moral education, physical education, and so on. Perfect education from parents since childhood can be a strong fortress in the soul of children to avoid them from immoral activities that can cause HIV infection. However, accurate and correct knowledge about HIV is one of the most important aspects of prevention, because the shallowness of knowledge about this disease will cause many people to become infected with AIDS. Last but not least, the role of law and punishment as one of the effective preventive measures in giving awareness to the community about the dangerous disease to stop the spread of AIDS. For the offences drug abuse, the punishment is 8 lash with while the offense of adultery is 100 lash and banishment from the district. By curbing the AIDS disease, this can provide useful benefits to all parties, especially AIDS patients. Thank you.